Mm. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It has been quite a morning. Um, Here in Cleveland, there was a very big storm in the middle of the night. And generally, I'm not woken up by weather. Sometimes I am a really sound sleeper. But last night, oh my goodness, it sounded intense out there. All my windows were rattling. Some of my windows had blown open because I have these very, very old windows in my house that kind of swing open. And there was just a lot of sound, a lot of wind. The lightning was very bright, thunder was very loud. And yeah, it just all felt very intense. And I know that there's also a full moon last night as well. I'm not sure if any of you caught a glimpse of that. My daughter and I went out for a walk last night, and as we were walking home, we were facing towards the east, and there's this gigantic orange glow in the sky, and it was the moon, and it was huge. So, lots and lots of very big energy going around in my house and really in the world. I think a lot of people are feeling some very big things. Um, a few days ago, my kids and I went to one of the local beaches here that's generally pretty sparsely attended. I think we saw three people the whole time we were there. And there's a pier at this beach. And at some point during the walk, I heard a sound that I thought was seagulls squawking, but it turned out that it was a person just like primal screaming off the end of the pier. And what we have around us is a lot of people who are extremely uncomfortable with the uncertainty, with the fact that this is weird and it's just a break from our daily routine. And for those of us who, I'm not included in this, but for those of us who do leave the house and have to work in essential professions, the stress level is so much higher. So I'm thinking this morning we are going to kind of step away from the stress a little bit if possible and just take some really good deep breaths. Let's practice a little bit of pranayama, a little bit of meditation, all of these things just about creating a little bit more space for yourself, giving yourself a little bit more freedom. I would like to read a little something something that an astrologer that I like to follow on Instagram wrote yesterday about the full moon. Her name is Heidi Rose Robbins. I think she is in probably in somewhere in Southern California. I think she might be in Ohio. But she wrote something that was really, really nice yesterday. She wrote, um, we are now just one day from the full moon of the Aries season, so that would be today. This is a potent time. Virgo, where the moon had been, sometimes amplifies our critical selves inwardly and outwardly. Libra asks us to seek peace. At such a heightened moment, let each of us try to leave behind old grudges or complaints. This is a moment when any kind of smallness needs to fall away. Let us hold the question, how can we each make a tiny gesture towards forgiveness or cooperation? This full moon asks us to come together, to step forward. We cannot let division win. Let us offer an open hand. Let us name a fresh start. Every small gesture of peace and friendship softens this scary time. Ooh, let us never hold back an opportunity to offer love and forgiveness. I love that. Every small gesture of peace and friendship softens this scary time. So thinking of our meditation and our breathing practice as a small gesture of peace. That's all these moments are for us. They are small gestures. The fact that we sit and meditate every day might not necessarily lead to us leading an entirely stress-free life, but it provides us these little mini islands of peace. It's a small gesture of peace. So let's find a seat. Okay, maybe you're sitting on your couch. Another nice option might be to just lay down on the floor. During full moon times, sometimes we can feel a little bit ungrounded, and what better way to feel grounded than to actually lie on the ground, lie on the floor, maybe with a blanket over top of you to feel a little bit of weight. Really just want to take a moment to get into something that feels sort of effortless. So if sitting up is not exactly working this morning, if it feels like a challenge or slightly painful in your lower back or hips, lay down, give yourself that little bit of grace, right? And wherever you end up, just take your hands to your lower belly, and you can't really see what I'm doing here, but I'm just moving my hands side to side on my lower belly. It's this little bit of like a tummy rub. And maybe as you rub your belly, you notice, oh my goodness, it feels kind of tense in my belly this morning. You might purposefully take a really big breath in and feel that lower belly expand out. And then take a deep breath out. And then we're just going to move the hands up to the middle of the belly, just around those lower ribs. Kind of press the heels of your hands into the lower ribs, right around your diaphragm. Sometimes when we undergo stress, we have this, there's this response called body armoring, which is where our muscles literally start to form a cage, right? They start to tense up, they start to freeze up, and it restricts our breathing, it restricts our ability to take that big full breath that we can feel free in. So thinking about using our hands to kind of work through some of that weirdness and tension. All right, and then we're going to make our way up to right under the collarbones. And again, maybe it's like slightly hard to see what I'm doing here, but there's really no wrong way to do this. You're just kind of like touching yourself. Good, and kind of press your fingertips into the muscle right underneath the collarbones, maybe working your way in towards the armpits just a little bit. Again, might feel kind of strange. Maybe even like tender. And that's totally, totally normal. Right? So we'll just take a few more moments with that, just kind of working the fingers across. Another nice option, y'all, is like a tennis ball. You might take a tennis ball and sort of roll it underneath the collarbones at a later time. Okay, don't worry about getting up right now. You can practice this whenever. Very good. And then let's just kind of take both hands to the center of the chest, and it's almost like this little sweep clean. So the fingertips kind of just kind of rake a little bit, one side to the other. All right, and then we're going to take our hands, just rest them in the lap. You can take one hand in the other, or maybe you're taking one hand to one knee, palms up or palms down. And now that we have given ourselves our nice little belly and chest massage, let's think about taking a 3-part breath. All right. So breathing in here just a few times, big inhale all the way to the top, hold it up at the top. And a big exhale through the nose or mouth. And pause at the bottom. Good, big inhale. Hold at the top. And big exhale. Good, and then here at the bottom, let's breathe in a third of the way. So thinking about that lower belly, as you inhale, just expand that lower belly out. And pause. Good, inhale more, expand the middle of the belly around the lower ribs. And then inhale again and feel the chest, collarbones expand. Big breath in, good. And then a big exhale. Pause at the bottom. All right, inhale. Breathe in, fill the low belly. Feel that expand. And pause. Inhale some more. Feel the low ribs, the sides of the rib cage expand. And pause. Good. And then inhale some more. Feel the chest, the collarbones expand. And then a big breath out. Good. So just a few more of these three-part inhales. Inhale, low belly. Pause. Inhale, mid belly. Pause. Inhale all the way up. And pause. And then breathe out. Good. One more. Big breath into the low belly. Pause. Big breath into the middle belly. Pause. And then big breath into the chest. Pause at the top. And exhale. Good. All right. Resume your normal breathing. Let your hands come to rest. Let your shoulders be at ease. And just tune into your physical body here for a few moments. Are there any adjustments that you need to make to be a little bit softer here? Be a little more comfortable? And check in with your jaw and the corners of your eyes. And the space in between your eyebrows. And just allow yourself to be present with the sound of your breathing here for just a little while. And just notice the steadiness or the shakiness of your breathing. Notice the depth of your breathing, the fullness of it. And just for now, letting your breath be the most important thing, the most interesting thing going on. As I was reading that little bit from Heidi Rose Robbins yesterday, it reminded me of this poem by Hafiz. I've been reading quite a bit of Hafiz to y'all recently. But this one is so beautiful. The small man builds cages for everyone he knows. Whoa. The small man builds cages for everyone he knows, while the sage, who has to duck his head when the moon is low, keeps dropping keys all night long for the beautiful, rowdy prisoners. I'll read that again. The small man builds cages for everyone he knows, while the sage, who has to duck his head when the moon is low, keeps dropping keys all night long for the beautiful, rowdy prisoners. And as you sit here in meditation, you might contemplate the beautiful, rowdy prisoners, right? What is that to you? What in you needs a key dropped? Who around you needs a key dropped? How can you be more sage-like and maybe a little less like the small man who builds those cages? Let's just take a little bit more time here for this small gesture of peace, our meditation practice, our breathing. Good. Maybe just 10 more breaths here, really thinking about savoring these breaths, savoring this time, each breath like one of those keys dropped. And as you begin to wake yourself up from this meditative state, just notice the sounds around you. Over here, I hear the birds chirping pretty loudly right outside my window. When you're ready, go ahead and open up your eyes if they're not already open. And oh, it was so nice to meditate with you all this morning. I really appreciate you showing up. I hope you all have a really beautiful day, and I will be back on Friday morning with another little live meditation. Oh, yay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye.